Diana, Princess of Wales. So Earl Spencer giving his response to the news. With me is the royal historian Kate Williams, who can give us a broad perspective on today's announcement. But first, your response to the news, Kate.
Well, fantastic news. I mean, you know, people have been on Womb, people have been watching Kate, quite poor girl. I mean, every time she turned up in something baggy, everyone said, oh my goodness, she's probably pregnant. But people have been thinking for quite a long time what's going to happen, because of course they have been married 18 months now and they've been very eager to start a family. We've heard both William and Kate say they wanted 2 children, they wanted to have children, and it's really thrilling news, I think. Wonderful news for the Queen, fantastic news for Charles. Charles is going to be a grandfather, and of course very constitutionally important. If it's a girl, as we were saying with Norman, if it's a girl, she's going to be on the throne, so boys and girls are equal. So it's really exciting stuff, and what an announcement to top off such a year. I mean, a Jubilee year, the Olympic year, the royal popularity is really soaring high after some pretty steady lows over the past, past 50 years or so. Absolute soaring popularity and a pregnancy to boot. So I know that poor Kate is not well. She's in hospital. She's, I mean, hyperemesis is this condition where the mother can't keep anything down, so she has to be literally fed by a drip. So poor old Kate's not very well at all, but hyperemesis doesn't tend to affect the baby. So the baby's growing well, it's just poor Kate who's suffering. But apart from that, I think it's, wonderful news, thrilling news, and what a Christmas for the royal family.
You mentioned the change of succession rules, and we've discussed it
Yes.
with Norman. Just put that into a bit of context for us, because lots of people will maybe be curious as to the constitutional significance of it. And how would you describe that?
I think it really is earth-shattering. I mean, people say, oh, the royal family are very stuffy, but actually, when we've seen, recently women bishops, that there was that voted down, and there are lots of, there aren't many women in the cabinet, there are not many women CEOs. The royal family is saying, a woman can be just as good at being monarch as a man. And I think really that's a tribute to perhaps some of our greatest monarchs in history have been queens. We've had Elizabeth II, Elizabeth I, of course Victoria. And so if this is a girl, she will have precedence over her brothers. And it's a very important movement, I think, and a big movement from the royal family.
You and I in the past on lots of our big broadcasts have discussed, for example, parallels with the Victorian age. Today's news, clearly, is a global media story, and it will continue to be for months and months to come now, until the baby arrives safely, we all hope. How does it compare? What was the level of interest in children when they arrived, let's say, 100 years ago?
Well, nothing like this. Of course, it was exciting, it was thrilling, it was a big moment. The bells rang across Britain when Queen Victoria had her son, the future Edward VII. But it's nothing like this, because you're absolutely right. We're in a global media world. And the Queen's governess, Marion Crawford, she said, royals are only private in the womb. And that's true. It's the only moment in which they are private. When this child is born, there'll be battles for photographs of it. When little Princess Elizabeth was born, even though she wasn't in line to the throne at all, no one thought she'd be queen. She was talked about. They were kind of bags and bags of toys were sent to her from across the Commonwealth. And I think William and Kate are now going to be besieged by baby grows and toys and tables and all kinds of books. This is a global phenomenon. This is, absolutely, perhaps the biggest, most famous child in modern history.
Is there any other royal setup, royal family in the world which can match any element of this story, or the extent or the scope of it?
I think there's the only people who can match the British royal family for the fascination they exert over the world. Newspaper covers, magazines, are covered with pictures of Kate and William, are Hollywood celebrities. I mean, this is really, it's like Angelina and Brad having their first children, but bigger. The royal families of Spain, of Denmark, of Holland, they just don't get the same attention. The British royal family, I mean, to a lot of the world, they are, to us, they're our royal family. To a lot of the world, they are megastars. And this child is going to be absolutely watched and followed. And this is the big question. How do we try? How do the royal family try, and William and Kate try, give this little girl or little boy a proper childhood, a childhood that Kate had, a very normal childhood. William has often said he loves the fact that Kate's had a very normal childhood, brownies and playing outside, things that was rather different for him. How does the little girl or boy have a normal childhood under the glare of the world's media? Because every photo of this little girl or boy is going to be could be sold at a premium.
Kate, all interesting questions. Thanks again for coming in. Good to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Kate Williams there, the royal historian.